We have beasts that are nearly double the size of the Megalodon. We have animals with a bite force of 3,600 psi. And we even have an animal that ate great white sharks for breakfast. Don't swipe or click away, because here are the 10 sea monsters that are scarier than Megalodon. Number 10. Mosasaurus. Have you ever watched Jurassic World? Well, if you paid attention to something other than Chris Pratt's ripped six-pack abs, then you undoubtedly saw this clip. The animal you just saw leap up from the tank and swallow a great white in one bite is a Mosasaurus. The Megalodon might have been big. In fact, some estimates say that an average human could stand up straight inside of its mouth. However, the lizard of the Meuse River is much bigger. It lived between 82.7 and 66 million years ago. Any remains from the beast were first discovered during the 18th century in Maastricht, the Netherlands. Because there are no intact remains from an entire mosasaur, we cannot know how big they were for sure. But if we were to do estimates based on the skull of the animal, which was 67 inches or 171 centimeters in length, then we come up with astounding lengths of between 56 and 58 feet, or 17.1 and 17.8 meters. The Mosasaurus had a powerful bite and teeth that were specialized for cutting prey apart. They had prismatic surfaces, and their cutting edges were opposite. On the other end, from some of the vertebrae uncovered, scientists believe that they had a very powerful tail with 2 lobes. Number 9. Leopurodon. Living around 160 million years ago, the Leopurodon was found in many of the European seas. The first time this ancient predator's popularity grew was back in 1999, when the BBC featured it in a TV series called Walking with Dinosaurs. There, they depicted the animal as an 82-foot or 25-meter beast that weighed somewhere in the range of 150 tons. However, since these discoveries were made based on only fragmentary remains, they were deemed dubious. Later research and discovery showed that the Leopurodon was 21 feet or 6.4 meters long. It had a body mass of between 1 ton and 1.7 tons. The animal had these 4 paddle-like limbs, which were very powerful. Now, they didn't allow the animal to swim efficiently, but they did allow it to swim really fast and accelerate at unprecedented speeds. Catching prey with speeds like that in the water is especially useful, making it an apex predator of its time. Number 8. Helicoprion. What you're looking at here is something called tooth whorls. They represent the lower jaw of the Helicoprion. That's right, the bottom lip of this predator was twisted and sharp teeth protruded from the jaw. They are known to have lived between 290 and 270 million years ago. But how would a jaw like this be useful? Well, the Helicoprion would have used its teeth to feed on soft-bodied prey. However, it's also possible that this lower jaw was used for smashing that like button, just like you should do if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, it was probably used for shelling some hard-shelled prey like cephalopods and amopods. So far, only the tooth whorls of these fish have been uncovered, and the largest one was about 16 inches or 40 centimeters. Based on that, some scientists claim that this individual could reach a length of between 16 and 26 feet, or 5 to 8 meters. Number 7. Basilosaurus. Known as the king lizard, the Basilosaurus was a 41.3 to a 33.9 million-year-old reptile that was first described in 1834. At this time, the animal was believed to have lived in the Tethys Ocean. In fact, it was actually one of the largest, if not the largest animals of the time. Based on the fossilized remains and some research, we now know that the Basilosaurus was between 49 and 66 feet, or 15 to 20 meters. Even though the animal is believed to have had a body shaped like an eel, it still had front limbs and rear limbs, which were relatively small compared to its body. But they didn't really need the limbs. All they needed was their powerful tail, which allowed them to swim fast and in 2 dimensions. When it comes to the mouth, scientists have discovered that this animal chewed its food before swallowing it. Also, thanks to the fossilized skulls, they even managed to calculate the bite force of the animal, which is estimated to have been 3,600 psi. Number 6. Elasmosaurus. It's one of the most memorable predators that lived around 80 million years ago. Fossilized remains were found in Kansas, USA, back in the second half of the 19th century. Why were they so memorable? Well, it's because they had these long necks that allowed these animals to reach a length of 34 feet, or 10.3 meters. 23 feet, 7.1 meters of which was only the neck. As for the body, it had a short tail, paddle-like limbs, and a small head. Speaking of which, there were 6 teeth which were formed like large fangs. Number 5. Duncalostius. Even though its head looks like that of a giant snapping turtle, this was actually a fish. They were called Duncalostius, and they lived between 382 and 358 million years ago. Unlike other fish, their jaws were armored, which allowed them to crush the shell or bones of their predators. The fish are estimated to have grown to a size of 29 feet, or 8.8 meters, and reached a weight of about 4 tons. Of course, because they had such powerful jaws, the Duncalostius was revealed to have a bite force of 6,000 newtons. That power increased to 7,400 newtons at the very tip. Number 4. Europeid. They might not be as big as a Megalodon, but they sure are just as scary. Why? Because this is the name scientists have given to giant, ancient scorpions. That's right. 250 species of Europeid lived between 467 million and 251 million years ago. For example, the largest of the scorpions were called Gicalopterus, and that one could reach a length of 8.2 feet, or 2.5 meters. Some were smaller, but generally speaking, these were unlike anything we have today. Their stereoscopic vision tells us that these sea scorpions were carnivorous predators in the sea. Number 3. Mauisaurus. The Mauisaurus is just a genus of plesiosaur. It lived 77 million years ago, and it looked very similar to the Elasmosaurus, but only with a shorter neck. This animal was discovered only recently, and as such, scientists haven't been able to uncover a lot of fossilized remains from the animal. Since New Zealand doesn't have many native prehistoric creatures, the Mauisaurus is pretty well known on the island. They even made stamps picturing the animal on them. Number 2. Chronosaurus. Chronosaurus means lizard of Chronos, and if you ask us, this sea creature more than lives up to its name. Unlike some of the previous examples, this plesiosaur has a short neck. This gave it a length of between 30 and 36 feet, or 9 to 10.9 meters. The body was elongated and large. The monster weighed between 10.6 and 12.1 tons, and just its skull was estimated to be between 7.3 and 9.4 feet. The powerful body was propelled by its 4 powerful flippers. During the swim, the short tail helped only a little. What makes the Chronosaurus special is the fact that it had teeth, which could reach a length of 12 inches or 30 centimeters. However, because they lacked cutting edges, it made it easy for scientists to distinguish them from other species. Number 1. Predator X. Considered one of the largest and the most powerful lizards of all time, Predator X measured 50 feet or 15 meters long and weighed 45 tons. The animal was so big that just its skull was about twice the size of the head of a T-Rex. As such, the skull was between 6.6 and 8.2 feet, or 2 to 2.5 meters in length. The animal was so big and powerful that they ate other predatory lizards that lived in the depths of the ocean. The scientific community and the media hailed it as, quote, the most fearsome animal ever to swim in the oceans. Their brains were roughly the same size as a great white shark. In 2009, this pliosaur was featured on an episode of the History Channel's Planet Dinosaur. On a related note, if we were to put the Predator X and the Megalodon in a giant water tank, who do you think would win? You can tell us in the comment section below. If you'd like more videos like these, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.